it like doing your first Coach's Open House for the Raptors?
It was great. First of all, great to see all the coaches and fans coming in and showing a lot of interest in our program. I thought that coaches did a really good job of presenting some of the stuff that we're doing offensively, defensively, but it was also very cool to hear coaches to ask really good questions, and we're really looking forward to continue to build this experience for our coaches and for our fan base. And we already have some very interesting ideas and plans for the future that we're going to share with you at a later point. But it's gonna continue to grow.
We saw Scotty, Yak, and Chris all around the court participating as best they could. How important is it to have injured players at practice and participating in whatever way they can?
I think it's paramount. I think it's very important, first of all, for them to be around the team. Scotty is our team leader. He can always be there and help with his voice. And, even he's 22, he's still very capable to help our guys and give them, encouragement and instruction or whatever it might be. And then for Yak and CB as veterans, it's very important for them to help other guys. But also I think it's very important for them to feel that they're still part of the team. They're not separated. They're not away, like they're there with us, and everything that we're teaching and coaching and trying to improve, they'll be able to hear, and it's going to speed up their process of coming back.
Obviously, there's hundreds of youth and amateur coaches watching today. Each one represents dozens of kids or young players. How serious do you take that responsibility of helping growing the sport of basketball in Canada at that level by helping out coaches?
Back in the day, I was one of those coaches. I was sitting in the stands and listening to the clinics and trying to steal any knowledge I can and learn. So for me, it's a path that I went through. So I can really respect, Tuesday morning to show up over here in a cold arena and ask questions and be eager to find out new information. So I take it very, very seriously. And anything that I can do to help any of those coaches and the basketball program in Canada, I'm here. Unless when you're playing against Serbia, then not.
I was going to ask, how cold is this arena compared to some of the gyms you were in Serbia?
Trust me, those gyms in Serbia can be even colder. And also in the summer, they can be much hotter because of the lack of AC.
Coach, what's your assessment of how Ramsey and Jordan specifically have responded to getting increased minutes during this stretch?
Both of them are doing a really good job of trying to take advantage of the opportunity they have. Obviously, Jemias is on his second 10-day. He showed us enough in those first 10 days that to intrigue us to give him another opportunity to extend his time with us, and we're really trying to take the opportunity that we have to give him minutes and for him to fight for those minutes. And I thought that Jemias is doing a really good job, especially on defensive end, just like applying a lot of pressure on the ball. And with Jordan, it's a constant battle. We know that he can really score, but at the same time we need him to improve his defense. And he's showing some very, very positive signs of improving on defensive end and taking it much more seriously than he did over the course of his career. So I'm really proud of their work.
Coach, we saw you guys work a lot on defensive fundamentals.
Yes.
Especially for a younger group, how important is it to work on even things like fundamentals, like boxing out and rebounding, things like that, closing out?
Thank you for noticing that because a lot of people would think, okay, you're in NBA, you're doing something out of this world, One of the first calls that I got when I got hired as a head coach was from Coach Pop, and we had a long conversation, and one thing that he kept saying is don't skip any steps. And that's what I'm really trying to do with our young team, not to skip any steps. And if that means that we need to spend more time on the simple thing as boxing out and technique and how to extend elbows and protect the ball, that's what we need to do. And at the end of the day, when basketball is about that, is about fundamentals. When you watch NBA finals and 7-game series, there are no play that you cannot scout and take away. But what you cannot really scout and take away is individual strengths and fundamentals of the players, and it really comes down to that on both ends of the floor.
When you think about in the corner, when you think about just you sitting in the coach's positions, was that kind of the aha moment for you of like you're always just sitting there thinking how you can be a better coach and what you can do to get your young players ready for the NBA, and then you have someone like yourself that says, actually no, it's just that simple. Is that like a common realization, do you think, among growing coaches?
I think a lot of times for coaches at any level is hearing other coaches speak and I'm on the right path. A lot of times it's not necessarily like how you're going to learn something new. You just a lot of times just getting confirmation, that's what you're working on is the right thing. My first time when I came to United States, I had a chance to spend 4 weeks at the University of Arizona with the legendary coach Lou Tolson, and I had a chance to visit with San Antonio Spurs for 7 days. And I brought this book and writing all the notes and all the stuff. But the interesting thing was like 90% of that stuff I was already working on with my teams back in Serbia. And it was really confirmation, like I'm not that far off, So I think a lot of times we're trying to learn something new, but just getting confirmation is good as well. But also hearing something that you don't agree with, that's going to make you just think about as much as you can out of the box. And I always encourage myself, my coaches, and all the coaches I talk to, think with your head. The easiest thing for young coaches is like, oh, YouTube, let me see something on YouTube. Try to solve the problem on your own. Be creative to find solutions on your own. Ask questions, spend time just like not being copycat, but actually trying to come up with your own solutions. And of course, you go then after that, look for some additional information you can get.
Extra judged out there with all those coaches in the suits?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I think it's kind of cool, cool opportunity for them to see what we do and kind of break things down and see how we practice at the professional level. So I thought it was pretty cool.
You haven't been here that long. How have you found how Darko approaches practice and compared to other years in your experience?
I mean, obviously just being here in year 2 and having one other coach, but Darko, I think he brings an intensity to practice. I think that helps us get ready for the games. Kind of puts stuff into light and into focus that we need to really take going into a game. So with his intensity and how intentional he is with things during practice, I think it helps us out during the games.
What's Darko's message been to you about what he wants to see from you on a nightly basis, especially with the extended minutes?
Just keep getting better every single game, defensively, offensively, just being aggressive on both ends and just trying to turn it up a level every single second that I'm out there. So,
if you look at the possession numbers, like you were on Banchero basically more than any Raptors been on any player at any game this year.
Yeah.
What does it feel like after 2 games against somebody you're giving up a fair bit of size to?
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's a great player, so it's a tough matchup to begin with. But just relying on my teammates, relying on our coverages and what our game plan is on him, going through and just dialing in on that, and I think just doing the best that I can to speed him up or make him take a tough shot.
How do you think your run at Kansas shaped you as a player these days?
I think really just for me being there 4 years and kind of going through the ups and downs there and eventually finishing up on top, I think it showed me a lot about how all the hard work doesn't really show all up in one game or one season. It takes a while. It takes 2 to 3 years, and it takes a while for a culture to build and guys to form around each other, and that's really it.
We've talked about the value of playoff games in the NBA or playing games and playing games that matter. What about March Madness games, right? And the do or die mentality.
Yeah.
What's that like for
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a whole new game. Whole new season. I feel like guys are starting it today. I believe the games start today, but it's a whole new season. I mean, it's win or go home, obviously, and the stakes are at its highest, and every mistake is magnified at that stage.
Hey, Ochai, speaking of Kansas, when you left Kansas, you left a note behind in the room, right, the dorm room, and it's just so funny that Gradey ended up taking that room, and now you guys are teammates. Do you guys ever talk about that and why you did that and all the connections?
Yeah, we've obviously talked about it. talked about it earlier in the season when the Jazz played here, and we kind of talked for a little while. But I thought it was just really cool, and I didn't know who was going to get it or who was going to be on the other end of it. But me being there for 4 years and what I had done there, and kind of just leaving that off in a note was that was my way of kind of passing it down. So.
Right. How have you seen Gradey grow? I'm sure you've watched a lot of Kansas, and now you see your teammates with him. How have you seen him grow in the last year or so?
I mean, he's grown a lot. I mean, kind of going through the same rookie year that I did last year. Kind of coming in, being a lottery pick, and having to play in the G League the first few months of the season, and kind of going back and forth. And I know how that feels. And obviously to get this chance and for him to be doing so well now and catching stride. I mean, obviously that's a testament to his work and what he's put in this season.
Yeah. How did it feel, by the way, when you mentioned coming up and down and a lot of expectations with a lottery pick? How did it feel for you to go through that?
I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy, by all means, but build something in you, and I think it gets you ready for the NBA level. As far as just going through the G League, going through the NBA team, and kind of going up and down and just being ready. I think that's what it teaches you is to be ready at all times.
Do you feel like added pressure when college guys are playing? It's like their last chance to prove something potentially before the NBA draft. Do you feel yourself, if I go on a deep run, I'm moving up in the draft, or if I lose in the first round, it could impact my status?
In a way, yes, but I feel like the talent is talent. Obviously, they've had 20, 25 plus games at this point to show that talent, and tournaments to tournament. Obviously, NBA scouts and people are looking for winners and guys that can win at the highest level when the stakes are the highest and the pressure's on the most. So, that if you do make it farther in March Madness, it shows a lot about you and all that. But at the end of the day, it's still basketball, and scouts can still, scout talent, whether you win or lose.
I was just asking Ochai about this too, but when he was finished at Kansas, he left that note behind in the dorm, and it just so happened that you ended up getting that. Did you guys talk about that moment and just talking about your connection with Ochai, especially through Kansas?
Yeah, it was a special moment for sure. Not only for me, but for my parents. Kind of them dropping off their last kid at Kansas. It was kind of an emotional time, but a great time nonetheless. But yeah, right after it happened, I texted him, thanked him for it, and those months leading up to it, getting recruited by him and Christian, and just trying to make the right decision for college, and them ultimately helping me find there. It's just a cool moment all around.
What was that like, getting recruited by two NBA pros like that,
Yeah.
or future NBA pros?
It was great. I mean, at the same time, that's been my dream school growing up, so it wasn't too difficult to convince me. Yeah. So, but yeah, them having the success that they did kind of was a cherry on top, and more of a reason to be there.
Gradey, how was it practicing in an open practice in front of hundreds of local youth and amateur coaches?
It was cool. It was really cool. I wasn't expecting there to be that much because we were talking about just having the practice, and then Coach Evo had to do something beforehand, and I had to kind of be the demonstration, just me and him one-on-one in front of everyone. So it was definitely a cool moment, and just thankful to be an opportunity to showcase kind of what we do around.
How was the full team practice different than a regular practice? Like, was it more intense, less intense, same drills, anything like that?
A lot of it was normal what we've been doing. We really didn't change that much up. We're so in the thick of the season where it's more just of kind of getting prepared for the next game. Not really going too crazy on our bodies, because obviously we have a good stretch left. So it's one of those things where just kind of stay tuned up, and that's all.
Darko, speaking of that, Darko on Friday was speaking about how you went from coming off the bench, playing 20-ish minutes to a full starter's role starting on that road trip. How does your body feel after a game now compared to in that role in 30, 32 minutes versus 20 minutes?
I feel great right now, but yeah, obviously when it was that kind of quick change, you could definitely feel a little different soreness, I guess, because like you said, it's a different change of minutes. But the great thing I'm most thankful is the vets and how much knowledge they have of just recovery wise, and so many guys play even more minutes and do that consistently. So if it works for them, you got to work on your recovery, and that's the biggest thing I'm learning right now. So the more I kind of go fully immersed into that, then I feel a lot better.
Does playing against different personnel, obviously you're seeing starters groups playing in the starters, does that I mean, everything's a learning experience. Does that really help your growth? Like, does the video maybe teach you a bit more than you were seeing before?
Yeah, for sure. Different lineups are, it's kind of different, competing out there because, say I'm used to going against maybe the second group and then, I'm just kind of thrown in the fire going in against the first five. It's a different level of, competitiveness that, I definitely need as a young guy coming in here and seeing a whole different, thing on defense, offense, whatever can help me get most prepared. I want, to go against that.
When you think about the Raptors have talked about the value of important playoff games, how does that compare to sort of, because you haven't played those yet, but March Madness games and the pressure of a do or die game? What's that like for guys, and how does that shape you as a player?
I think it's really the most exciting, time of the year for everyone. All the guys that are competitive like that, because it's a lot on the line. You win in advance, you lose, you're done. So it's what made March Madness so fun for us last year. Obviously not in the second game, but just the whole excitement of the whole tournament. It's one of the most fun times of the year, for a college basketball fan and just basketball fan in general. But yeah, going to the playoffs too is a little sense of that, where you have a chance to win it all and win the the best accomplishment in all of sports. So it's definitely a lot to ride on.
What was it like for you watching Ochai on that run?
It was crazy. Well, I remember telling the story. I think I was on my way to Hoop Summit, the Nike Hoop Summit thing, and I was on my way to the airport, had on my phone, and then they got in a big hole in the first half. And then I got on my plane when it hit halftime, so I was like, I don't know what the deficit was, but they were down by a bunch. And then got off the plane, and some dude had on his phone, and it was like the last 10 seconds they got back and won it. So I missed the whole good part, but good way to end it for sure.
Gradey, we got to ask you about the jersey swap the other day. Why did you choose to swap jerseys with Anthony Black?
That's my guy.
Yeah.
No, actually, I've been playing with him since, or against him and with him, around middle school days. So that's been my guy for a long time, and guys jersey swap with their boys. So that's my friend.
Do you have other jersey swaps planned in the future?
If I played with them growing up and they're my guys, then I'll jersey swap with them. Nothing more to it.
Thanks for watching the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest video and subscribe for more.
Kane denied, lead pass, here's McDaniels. In a crowd, wide open three. Here comes